which is really what chess is all about. Okay, so let me just give myself a king. I think this is it. Okay, so this is a typical early middle game, late opening position. You know, both sides have basically completed their development. So let's talk about this. Yeah, I think this is it. Okay. So, what's going on here?
So, Black's knight and light squared, well, his only bishop are both very bad.
Yep.
So, light squared bishop, because it's locked in, and actually it's kind of the same with the knight. It's locked in. I guess it can go to g6.
Yep.
But our knight on e5 is impressively strong.
Yep.
And it would be nice to maintain the knight there, if possible. Our light scored bishop, it looks strong, but it's not really doing too much. Maybe like it has a wide range of vision, and it's aimed at the king side.
But no targets, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe if Black tried to play like knight g6 with the idea of trading off knights, we might just take it with the light scored bishop. Maybe.
Well, we're on it twice, right? So it's not like you can do that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Let's see what else. So White has the half-open e file.
Yep.
Which doesn't amount to too much right now, but could prove useful later on.
So who has more space?
White has more space, so he has the pawns in the center, whereas Black's pawns are all on the 6th or above ranks. Our rooks are doing more than his rooks.
Yep, it's true.
Though his d8 rook is maybe, well, it's certainly more useful than his a rook.
Yep. So are we just winning? Just game over? Just win the game?
Yes.
Okay. I'll just ask Black to resign. I'm sure he'll comply. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Clearly, I'm better. So.
I mean, just look at my knights. I mean, how can you even play on in this position? Okay. So the question is, how the heck do we come up with something here? Because it seems like our pieces are pretty much on optimal positions, right? Like, where would we want to put our pieces that would be any better than where they are now? Is that a fair question? Or can you tell me someplace where you can put your pieces that would be better?
Well, I guess the knight on c3 is a little bit awkward, maybe.
Okay, but I mean, where could you put it instead? Right now.
Nowhere useful.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's our plan here?
Well, let's see. Our light scored bishop and our knight on e5 are maybe poised to...
For an attack of some sort?
Yes, maybe. For a kingside attack. But
does Black have pieces on his king side?
Yeah, so the knight on f8 is actually...
a good defensive piece.
Yeah, discouraging attacks like that.
As well.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's flip it around maybe a little bit. Let's ask, what do you think Black would try to do here in this position?
So Black wants to free his light squared bishop.
Okay. So what are some possible ways he could try to do that?
He could try playing c5, which would free that diagonal. And actually, once he gets the bishop off of d7, then that allows knight d7.
Right.
So he could contest our knight in that way if he wanted to. So he might want to play c5.
Is there something that's he could also play besides c5 to get that bishop out? Maybe long-term-ish?
If he can kick the knight from e5 that's currently blockading e6, he could play e5 himself at some point.
Right. That's a little more long-term and kind of creates light squared weaknesses. But it's a possibility depending. But yeah, okay, so he'd like to free up his light squared bishop. Okay. And then, because really his light squared bishop is taking away the square from his knights, right?
Right. And it's also, so long as it's stuck there, it's limiting the scope of the rook as well.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so given that, Black's worst piece is currently his bishop, and given that he has, ways to maybe get it more active, what possibilities are there for White to kind of try to play on the fact that Black has such a poorly placed piece at the moment?
So we may want to play c5 ourselves. So
Okay,
even though
so
this creates a hole on d5, but
right,
then we could just trade our knight on c3 for it.
right. So yeah, so c5 is a possibility, but yeah, is that a good idea or a bad idea, and why?
Um, well, so even though we could trade off on d5 if he got his knight there, we probably still don't want to create the hole
On d5.
on d5.
Right. Okay, so how about let's ask it this way. Does black have any weaknesses?
Um, Not really.
Okay, that's somewhat accurate. Somewhat accurate.
So nothing that's easily targetable, I don't think.
Right. Okay, well, okay, so weaknesses don't necessarily have to have a piece on them, right? So are there any weak squares?
Oh, okay. So,
So
for
we already
instance,
mentioned that the light squares are slightly weakened on the king side simply because black played h6, but are there any fairly weak squares?
d6,
Yeah.
so long
Yeah.
as the light square bishop is blocking the rook from covering it.
Well, remember, weak squares are more based on the pawn structure than the pieces. So even though pieces are defending a square, it doesn't necessarily mean the square is not weak. So like if we play c5, for example, d5 is weak, even though technically our knight's defending it. So it's more so the fact that a pawn can't chase a piece away from that square. So um, so yeah, so which square did you say was weak now?
So d6.
Right, right. Okay, so d6 is weak. So, is there a way we can maybe take advantage of that?
We could we could play c5 and then play knight c4 to d6, but our knight's already pretty well placed on e5, maybe. So that might be undesirable. Oh, so we could play knight e4 to d. Well, we can't post it up on d6 yet, but playing knight d4 also discourages c5 because then we could just take. But then he can just trade off knights.
Right.
So I don't see how else we could take advantage of d6 aside from trying to reroute a knight there.
But we need a knight there with support of a pawn, right? So
Right. So c5 regardless. So
right.
So if we want to take advantage of d6, we always have to have a pawn covering it anyway. So
right. Okay. So the c5 seem like a good move now or a bad move?
it seems like a good move.
Okay.
Because then if he ever tries the break with like b6, then we can just retake with a d pawn.
So yeah, the right answer is indeed c5. But it's a move that most people wouldn't think of because they think, oh, we're giving away this d5 square for this knight. Why would we do that? Because oftentimes this pawn duo is strongest when it's together. But c5 is just a positional crush, and now black is basically strategically lost. So black tried knight d5. Okay, now this is important. So what here?
So I think we go ahead and not take
Right.
because then if we take, we free his light squared bishop.
Exactly. So what do we do instead?
So then just knight e4,
Exactly.
and then we can head to d6.
Exactly. So knight e4. So black played bishop e8, and now
Just continue with the plan. Knight d6.
So black played b6, and now
So we don't take, obviously, because
Right.
we're hanging piece.
Right.
But we might want to. Oh no, that doesn't work. I was thinking b4, but then it's just knight takes. So now we have a whole bunch of pieces on f7. So maybe we might need to try taking advantage of that if we want this to go anywhere.
So what's a good way we can do that?
We could, maybe the best way would be queen f3. Queen
Exactly.
h5 would be bad for discovered attack reasons.
Yep. Yeah, queen f3 and black resign a couple of moves. So I mean, this is completely hopeless. So I mean, this rook's just gonna come across and can't defend your king side, and f7's weak, and basically black's in zugzwang, and GG. So yeah, but the important point in this position was that c5 was necessary to support this d6 point. Because really, it's hard to find a real weakness in black's position. So f7 is a little bit of weakness, but it's hard to get at. But the real weakness is d6. And so the move we do to support this is to play c5. And now really, I mean, black has no good way to free himself. I mean, this bishop is permanently bad. So there's no c5 freeing move.
Right.
d6 just weakens c6 further. And yeah, and you were absolutely right that the c3 knight was a little weird. And we want to get it to d6. So yeah, obviously black didn't play optimally defensively, but I mean white had a clearly superior position. So okay, let's this one was kind of a positional one where we need to find the plan. Okay, let's go to one that's a little more tactical. But yeah, again, you know, looking for the weak squares, looking for the weak points, and noticing the placement of your pieces kind of leads you to find the right plan. And that one, again, wasn't so much tactical as it was just positional in knowing where to put your pieces. So improving the placement of that c3 knight was key. But, okay. So... Right. 1, 2, 6. Myself a king. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about this one. Okay, so let's talk about this one.
So it looks like white has sacked a piece for several pawns.
How many?
3. Right?
Yeah, 3. Okay, good. Okay, so tell me about the position.
Okay. So black's king is completely open. That's kind of the key feature, I guess. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, there's more than just material imbalance, right? I mean, so yeah, you're right. It's 3 pawns for a piece, but okay, talk about the position in general as well.
Okay, so white's king is very safe, and black will not be able to get anything going against the king. White has the open d file to get his rook in on any kind of attack. His dark squared bishop is sad, and we can't improve it with like e4 to give it because it's pinned to the king. Though we could try something like b4 and then try to post it on b2, where it'll be contributing to a kingside attack. And until we get the dark squared bishop out of the way, the other rook can't get into the game.
Who's better developed?
Black.
Oh, sorry. I made one mistake in the position. I apologize. Sorry. Okay. So this is the position. Sorry. Because I noticed you said something about b4, but okay. So anyway, yeah, this is the position. But okay, so yeah, who's better developed? You said black.
Yes.
Okay. Well, whose king is better developed?
Well, white's king is in the castled position as opposed to whatever black's king is in.
Okay, whose rooks are better developed?
At least one of white's rooks is on an open file, whereas black's are not doing anything, but black can activate his h-rook pretty easily.
Okay, but it would require a king move, right?
Yes.
Okay, and whose queen is better developed?
White's queen, because it has more scope currently.
Okay, so who's better developed?
White. I changed my mind.
Okay. So I mean, it looks like black's better developed because he has more pieces out, but just because he has more pieces, period. Like.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, actually, white is probably slightly better developed. Okay, and okay, what about the placement of black's pieces? Are they harmonious, or would you say they're not harmonious?
I would say they are inharmonious.
Yes, they are inharmonious. Okay, because are they really targeting something?
Not at all.
Okay.
And it's difficult to coordinate them into any kind of attack because
Right.
especially the Age Knight is too far away to do anything.
Right. So given that we think that white's ahead in development, given that black's pieces are